Hey, perfect spirit. I'm Sam Shelley, and they call me the Miracle Man. Now, let's create a miracle in your life right here, right now. No time for delay. Or if you're new to my channel, welcome. I talk about getting rid of all that stress, the anxiety, the worry, all that future guessing, all those beliefs that aren't serving you. That's the head trash, and we need to throw all that stuff out. It's not serving us. So today I want to talk about, taming this head trash monster, because this is really a monster. It creates a lot of chaos in your life, a lot of mayhem, and just a lot of stress in general. And stress is not healthy. The overwhelming stress isn't good, and being overwhelmed with life, but that's the monster. And unfortunately, it is a monster, and a lot of people commit suicide because of this inner dialogue. So it really destroys a lot of lives. So we need to figure out, okay, how do we kill the monster, if you will? But we can't kill the monster. All we can really do is tame the monster. Because the mind's always going to be thinking, always going to be judging situations, criticizing, sharing these beliefs, sharing these opinions. But we don't have to give that power, if you will. We have to say that is our truth. But unfortunately, a lot of people are taking that inner dialogue, this head trash, as their truth. So how do we tame this monster? Well, we just have to realize the basics on how the mind works. So the mind is either in the story, the memories, the beliefs, the opinions, the past, the future. So that's where the monster lives, in the past and future. Because stress and anxiety are all products of living in the past or guessing the future. So the monster doesn't live in this moment, it just lives someplace else, but it's not in this moment. So the way to tame the monster is to be in this moment. Like, where are your feet? Where are your hands? What do you see? What are you touching? And that's getting yourself back into this moment. So you can either be living with your monster or in this moment. It's really that simple. But it's a practice, though, because the monster is always trying to grab your attention, because the monster wants to control your life, destroy your life, ruin your life. Because if you keep listening to this voice, you're not going to have a very fulfilling and joyful life. You're going to have really the life that I had, really stressed out and overwhelmed. And the way my immune system was, it made me very, very sick. So just a simple practice of just being here in this moment. That's how we tame the monster, the head trash monster. So drop some comments below. How does this head trash try to define you? And we got to see it like a monster, the head trash monster. And that's just a term that I picked up recently. I think it's kind of interesting that it's just not garbage. It's really a monster creating chaos, mayhem in your life. So just take a breath and just be here in this moment. To realize you cannot be defined by labels, by stories, by memories, by anything in the past. And the future isn't here. So just have this practice to ask yourself, where are the feet? Where are my hands? What am I touching? And keeping it very simple. This is where I was really fortunate not to have a teacher. I've been so focused on the rules, and the rules can be their own flavor of head trash. Am I holding my hands correctly? Am I sitting properly? Is my posture correct? That would have all kept me locked in the mind. I've been too focused on, am I doing this properly? And the practice is really just learning to be mindful. Going throughout the day and just being mindful and not being mindless. Mindless is really the opposite. That means you're just completely lost with the monster in the story in fantasy land. But mindful is really being conscious, aware, fully aware of the present moment. What do you see? The person you're talking to? What's the color of the shirt, their hair? What are the words they're saying? And notice how the mind wants to react and respond immediately to the words instead of allowing it to absorb into you. Let it kick around a little bit, then respond. Maybe that's your practice, is a deep listening practice where you just listen, then you give it a few seconds, then you respond. That's extremely difficult for the mind because the mind's very reactive. It wants to jump in there saying, me, me, me. Once again, it's a monster creating stress, division, separation. And that's just not a helpful state to be. But just realize we have to learn to live with the monster, to tame the monster, to have the monster be our aids, our tools to get through this life, to feed ourselves, to take care of ourselves. There is a purpose to it. But I really referred to it as a monster because so many people just commit suicide because they believe the mental voice, the voice of the monster, that life is too difficult, too painful, that it's not worth living. And that just really needs to go. The monster almost got me a few times because I took my thoughts as my truth. And thoughts are definitely not the truth. It's a story, it's an illusion, it's fake news. So just realize I have to accept my monster. I don't have to listen to him, but I have to realize he's going to be there. Because as long as my mind thinks, it's going to be around, trying to steer you off your path into a different direction. But we just need to slow down to be here in this moment. It's this simple. Just be here and now. Where are your feet? Where are your hands? What do you see? If you're driving, what does the steering wheel feel like? What's the gas pedal feel like? The brake? What's the engine sound like? If you're moving, what's the sound the tires are making? All some sort of simple things that you can do when you use a computer. If you have a mouse, what does a mouse feel like? What do the keys feel like? When you're drinking a glass of water, what's that glass? Hot, cold? Is the texture of the cup smooth, rough? These little practices make a huge difference because you're simply adding gaps into the thought stream. The more gaps, the more inner peace. The more inner peace, the more joy, the more happiness. The lasting joy, the lasting happiness comes when you add enough gaps into the thought stream. And there's a quickening that happens with this. So when initially you may be practicing a lot to keep yourself mindful, but as time goes on with this practice, you'll be able to snap yourself back into the moment very, very quickly. So that's about taming the monster today. So let me know, what's your monster up to? How's it trying to lead you astray? And how can you really tap into that true voice, the voice of this moment, this intuitive voice that's always right here, right now, in the here and now. All right, well, take good care of yourself, and I'll talk to you soon.